past president Paulette Brown, past ABA president, that's the American Bar Association president Paulette Brown. We're happy to have you. This month, the NBA is focused on We Are History in celebration of Black History Month. And you are, in fact, history. My name is Joseph Drayton, and I'm the president of the National Bar Association, the 76th president, a partner at Cooley LLP, and I'm proud to be with Ms. Paulette Brown today. So, Ms. Brown, share with us why you are history.
First of all, thank you, President Drayton, for allowing me to speak during Black History Month, which is so critically important, and it's really everybody's history. Everybody should know about all the major contributions of Blacks and African-descended people have made to the United States. So I am told I am history, one, because I was the first woman of color to become president of the American Bar Association at the time in 137 years. And, there have been some other history-making things that I've been able to say that I've done. New Jersey gives a Medal of Honor. I was the first African-American and probably the youngest person to ever receive the Medal of Honor from the New Jersey State Bar Foundation. And there have been a few other things as well. But it's not just about making history. It's about, in my opinion, what we do once we reach a particular position. So, as you mentioned, I am a very proud past president of the National Bar Association, having served 93 to 94. And, I feel as though the National Bar Association provided me with wonderful foundation to get me to the point where I am now and to get me to the point of being president of the American Bar Association. And so what we have to do when we reach these positions, one, is we have to be sure that we are not the Lone Ranger, that there's someone who is going to come behind us. It's not enough to be the first and the only. There have to be many more who follow us. And then second, whenever you're the first, there is a responsibility that carries with it being the first. And so you have to use your position to empower other people to understand that they can be the very best that they can be.
So tell us, do you have any other lawyers in your family that came before you?
Absolutely not. So there are no lawyers, and really, in essence, I was the first one to really go to college. My maternal grandmother actually went to college, and she taught for 2 years, and then she eloped with my grandfather, and that was the end of her teaching career. And Joe, you and I are both from Baltimore. My grandmother ended up working at City College, which is a high school for all boy high school at the time, or I should say all male high school at the time. And she did not end up as a teacher when she retired. She ended up as a cafeteria worker, still in education. So I was not only the first person to graduate from law school, but also from college. And my siblings could have gone to college, but they decided that they wanted to pursue other endeavors. In fact, my sister was so excited, my older sister was so excited that I graduated from college. She told my parents that they should buy a car for me because they had a lot of money left over because the others hadn't gone to college. They said no.
Right. So you were active in the National Bar Association, and we represent the Black lawyers, not just in the United States of America, but globally. And you also were active in our local affiliate, the Garden State Bar Association, among other professional associations. One question that I have for you, who are some of the people you met along the way that you had access to during your journey in your time with the National Bar Association and the Garden State Bar Association?
So with respect to the National Bar Association, my very first convention in Dallas, Texas, in 1980, I was checking into the hotel and met Senator Arthenia Joyner. When she found out it was my first convention, she took me under her wing. She gave me all the information I ever needed to know about the National Bar Association. She even went so far as, did I have enough money to do this? Did I need, she said, do you own any pearls? This is 1980. Do you own any pearls? I'm like, no. She said, you must have pearls. And she gave me a strand of pearls. And so just the guidance from people like her. And in the Garden State Bar, there were so many different people who we met, active not just in the Garden State Bar, but the Association of Black Women Lawyers of New Jersey, which is the oldest women's lawyers group in New Jersey. Nina Wells, and I joke about how we used to have meetings in our living rooms because the numbers were so small back then. It's just, even though some people are your peers by age, it's just so much that you can learn from them, and that I've learned from my peers, younger than me, same age as me, older than me, all of the above, to help me along the way in my career. And so, at a point in time, I had an opportunity to meet Justice Archer, the chairman of his firm, and he was the first African-American to be president of the American Bar Association. So obviously, when I decided to take that route, he was a tremendous mentor to me.
Okay. Well, this video may go
and he
viral.
was also president of the National Bar, too.
Indeed.
Yeah. As well as Senator Joyner. Yes, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Not a problem. And so, I want, folks to also, who may not be members of the National Bar Association, who may not be lawyers, did you get an opportunity to meet Johnny Cochran along the way, and lawyers that have visibility like that?
So not only did I meet Johnny Cochran and have an opportunity to interact with him, but I also met Justice Thurgood Marshall, who would participate in National Bar Association meetings and was a member at one point in time. Fred Gray, who is one of the biggest legal giants. But there's so many different people who were so active in the civil rights movement, who were also active in the National Bar Association, who provided such a legacy for us. And just thinking about, others who I had an opportunity to meet through the National Bar Association, who I don't think that I would have otherwise met. I also had an opportunity to participate in some major things. One of the things I had an opportunity to do was the National Bar was granted NGO status. And so I was able to lead a delegation to monitor the first free and democratic elections in South Africa when Nelson Mandela was elected. And I had an opportunity to participate in the federal judiciary process and meet at the White House and meet with the president and meet with the president's legal team. Had an opportunity to coalesce with the Legal Defense Fund when the phenomenal Elaine Jones was the head of the Legal Defense Fund, and worked with Wade Henderson and Barbara Arnwine. And we worked in a very collaborative way to make sure that the federal judiciary was more inclusive. It's amazing to me, the people and the legal giants that I've met through the National Bar Association, because I never dreamed or even knew that I could dream to meet such people and to interact with such people, and that they would actually listen to what I had to say. So
right. President Brown, let me ask you this question. You mentioned so many giants from the civil rights era, and we're 50 plus years removed from the heart of the civil rights era in some respects.
I don't think so.
No, I understand, but a lot of people do. And so my question for you is, why should, if at all, lawyers be members of the National Bar Association today in 2019? What is the value proposition for them?
First of all, no one is going to advocate for you better than you can advocate for yourself. And so the National Bar Association is you. And you can rely on the National Bar Association to advocate for those issues that are important to you and important for your community. It is great to belong to other organizations, but I think that it's necessary not just to belong, but to be active in a group or an affinity group that will best represent your interests. I can tell you from a personal standpoint that but for the National Bar Association, I would probably not be in big law, because it was because of the National Bar Association and the people I was able to meet in the National Bar Association that decided that they would give me a chance and let me do their corporate work. And once I started doing corporate work, and that was Jim Cole, who's also a past president of the National Bar. He was the first one who took a chance on me. He worked at the Clorox company. He didn't really know me that well, but he said, here's another Black lawyer who's a member of the National Bar Association, just like I am. I'm going to give her a chance and let her do some work. And so that is a classic example of what the National Bar Association has done for me. In addition to that, just to have the opportunity to speak to a Fred Gray, to speak to a Oliver Hill, to speak to a Spotswood Robinson, to speak to Justice Thurgood Marshall, Elaine Jones, Dennis Archer, Arthenia Joyner, and to just gather information that you would not ordinarily have had. I felt as though I was living in isolation. When I go to the NBA, I used to always go, I said, I'm going for my soul food. And because the NBA is family. You know, it's a place where you can be safe. It's a place where you can share your experiences and nobody's going to judge you. It's a place that will advocate for you and advocate for all of those things you believe in, from a civil perspective, from a social justice perspective, and from a business perspective. I can't say enough good things about the NBA.
Well, I want to say thank you. And, I want to tell those that watch this video just what is big law. Well, big law means that you're practicing at law firms that have an international presence. And you've done that and represented tremendously. And in addition, I want to thank you for your time and all you continue to do, not only for the National Bar Association, but for the American Bar Association and for lawyers in general. So we appreciate you making history. We know that you will continue to make history. And thank you for sharing a piece of yourself with others in the legal community and the public at large. So thank you and take care and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you, President Drayton. I look forward to seeing you soon.